Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was a bat named Camila. Camila the bat lived in a cave with thousands of other bats, where it was quiet right before dusk and still warm from the day. Camila hung upside down, wrapped in her own soft wings like a cozy blanket, her toes hooked right into the rough stone. "Okay, Wings," she whispered to herself, stretching carefully. "Let's try not to bump into anyone tonight." Around her were many other bats, all sleeping in their own way. Some tucked tight, some wiggling, some snoring in tiny squeaks. They didn't all really have names. They didn't need them. They knew each other by sound, by smell, and by the gentle bump of wings when space got a little too friendly. As the sun completely set, Camila the bat stretched her wings wide. She yawned, which for a bat meant opening her mouth wide and accidentally letting out a squeak that echoed back to her. The echo bounced off the cave walls and returned like a polite hello. Good. The cave still sounded right. That mattered, because bats like Camila didn't see the world the way people do. Her eyes worked just fine in dim light, but the real picture came from sound. She chirped softly, and the chirps came back to her as shapes. Smooth stone, jagged cracks, a familiar curve near the mouth of the cave. "Perfect," Camila the bat chirped as she swooped and churned. It was like hearing a map for her. When the air cooled enough to tickle her nose, Camila dropped from the ceiling and caught herself midair. One flap, then another, and she joined the gentle swirl of bats heading out. They flowed from the cave, and there were so many of them, it looked like smoke leaving the cave. Outside, the night was busy. Insects buzzed. Leaves rustled, and the air was full of tiny moving snacks. Camila the bat zipped and dipped, opening her mouth to chirp and closing it quickly so she wouldn't swallow her own echoes. A moth zigged. Camila zagged. Plop, right in her mouth. Snack secured. "Gotcha," she squeaked proudly. She followed the usual path. Over the trees, along the bend of the stream that glimmered in the moonlight, and past the tall rock that smelled like moss and bird droppings. These landmarks mattered. Bats remember their routes in the air as they fly through them every night. But then, something unusual happened. A warm wind slid through the valley, carrying new smells and strange sounds. Camila chased the particularly tempting cloud of insects just a little farther from her spot than usual. Then a little farther than that. Then a little farther than that. The night felt open and exciting, and her wings felt strong. By the time her belly was full, the air had changed again. Camila slowed and chirped. The echoes came back. Wrong. The trees sounded too close together. The ground rose sooner than expected. The familiar rock was missing. Camila the bat circled once, then twice, clicking and squeaking more sharply now. "This doesn't sound right," Camila the bat murmured. The map in her mind didn't match the sounds in her ears. She stopped flapping and hovered for a moment. And that's when she realized something important. She was lost. At first, Camila did what bats often do when something feels off. She paused. She landed on the side of a tree, hanging upside down, and wrapped her wings around herself. Hanging helped her think, and she felt a little more stronger because her feet were hooked onto something solid. Then she listened. The night had many voices. Crickets sang their scratchy songs. Owls hooted and whooshed past, sounding very serious. Far away, water ran over rocks. Camila chirped again, slower this time, letting the echoes travel over the space around her. She remembered something important, not in words, but in feelings. Home had a certain sound, a deep, roomy sound, a cave with a long entrance and a high ceiling that made echoes stretch and stretch before coming back. So Camila the bat decided not to panic and not to rush. "I just went too far," Camila said to herself. "That's okay. I can fix that." She launched into the air again and flew low, following the sound of the stream. Many bats use water as a guide, and Camila had done it before without thinking. Now she did it on purpose. The water whispered directions as it curved through the land. The stream led her to a rocky hillside. Camila chirped and felt a hollow space nearby. A cave. Relief fluttered through her wings. She swooped inside without slowing too much. But the echoes came back too fast. The ceiling was low. The walls were close. The air smelled different, dusty and tight. Camila landed quickly, folding her wings with care. This cave felt crowded in a way that made her chest feel small. This was not home. Camila stayed very still. She knew better than to blunder around in an unfamiliar place. Instead, she listened and chirped softly, testing the space. No familiar echo answered her back. No roomy darkness. Just short, nervous sounds. "Okay, nope. This is not my cave," she said to herself firmly. So she did another very bat-like thing. She left. Back outside, the night felt bigger again. Camila the bat flew upward this time, gaining height. From higher up, sounds traveled farther. She chirped in long, steady bursts, letting the echoes return from distant hills and tall trees. Something tugged at her, gently, that was pulling her and giving her a sense of direction. It wasn't magic, it was memory. The shape of the land, the pull of familiar routes, and a faint sense of direction guided by the world itself. She adjusted her flight and headed toward a darker patch of sky where the land dipped just right. As she flew, she noticed more familiar things. The air cooled the same way it did near home. The insects buzzed in the same busy pattern. A tall tree appeared with branches that sounded exactly as they should. Camila chirped again, heart thumping. The echoes stretched. She laughed a small squeaky sound and flapped harder. Soon, there it was, the wide mouth of the cave. with its familiar, cool air. The sound inside was deep and welcoming. "Oh, there you are," she said to the cave. Camila slowed, taking in the fact that she finally came home. Then she slipped inside. The ceiling rose above her just right. The walls curved in the way she knew by heart. Other bats rustled and shifted. Camila found her favorite spot and hooked her toes in. As she wrapped her wings around herself, her body finally relaxed. "That was a lot today," Camila said softly. The cave settled into quiet. Sleepy squeaks echoed faintly. Camila closed her eyes, thinking about the night. About wandering too far, feeling unsure, listening carefully, and finding her way back. She was safe. She was home. And she knew now that even when the world feels confusing and unfamiliar, patience, memory, and listening can guide you back to where you belong and where you are loved. And the bat lived happily ever after. The end. Bats are a group of mammals that can fly. Their scientific name is Chiroptera, which means hand wing, because their wings are like stretchy hands. Bats live all over the world except in Antarctica. There are more than 1,300 kinds of bats. In fact, bats are the second largest order of mammals after rodents. That's about 20% of all mammal species worldwide. Bats are the only mammals that can truly fly, not just glide like flying squirrels do. Bats use echolocation to see with sound. They make tiny sounds that bounce off things around them. The echoes come back, and the bats hear a map of the world. Even though people say bats are blind, most bats can see okay in dim light too. Some bats eat insects and catch them in mid-flight using echolocation. Many bats eat bugs like mosquitoes and moths, which helps farmers and gardens because bats keep insect numbers down. Some bats eat fruit, nectar, and pollen, just like hummingbirds. A few special bats called vampire bats drink a little blood from other animals, and very rarely people. Bats sleep upside down. Their feet curl and lock so they can hang without getting tired. Bats often live together in big groups called colonies. Baby bats are called pups, and their mommies feed them milk. Some bats hibernate in winter, while others fly to warmer places. Bats help pollinate flowers just like bees, which helps fruit grow. They also help spread seeds so forests and plants can grow. There are so many different kinds of bats in the world. Some people divide bats into two groups. The microbats, which are most bats. They're usually small and mostly use echolocation to find food, and they often eat insects. And megabats. They're also called flying foxes. They're usually big, with big eyes, long faces, and they mostly eat fruit and nectar, and they often do not use echolocation. Some insect-eating bats are little brown bats, Mexican free-tailed bats, and big brown bats. Some fruit-eating bats are Indian flying fox or the Egyptian fruit bat. There's also the lesser long-nosed bat, the common vampire bat, a brown long-eared bat, or even the hammer-headed bat. Some tiny bats can fit in your hand. Big bats can have wings as wide as a grown-up's arms. Some eat bugs, some eat fruit, some drink nectar, and only 3 kinds drink blood. And all bats are important helpers to nature. Have you seen a real-life bat before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye! If your child enjoys cats, drawing, or writing, you might also like my Everyday Cats Journals. They're a 4-book journal series, each with fun covers showing cats with human bodies doing silly and everyday things. Inside, kids can look for little objects from the cover that appear in the top corners of the pages and try to find them all as they write or doodle. The Everyday Cats Journals are available on Amazon. You can find all the details in the show notes.